in, Ronnie Akunin. How are you, bud?
Pleasure to have you. I'm well, thank you.
Welcome
Thanks for
in.
the invitation. Thank you. I appreciate
Jump in
it.
there, Jeremy. You're in the middle.
I appreciate
A
it.
physician advisor for Soccer Genomics, which it's a wonderful privilege to have you here in our little dungeon.
Here, I'll do the show. I'll do the. I'm in the middle, so I'll do the.
Soccer Genomics. What is Soccer Genomics?
So look, essentially, this company has taken the advent of genetics and trying to introduce the soccer community to testing that will improve their soccer game. We are a company that has reviewed the existing genetic literature and picked essential genes that we know are looking to improve the development of a soccer player. It's a simple test. You order it online, you take a simple swab. 2 to 3 weeks later, we analyze it in our labs, and we send you a report. The report is what we call the Soccer Player Development Tool. It doesn't only introduce you to genetics, but it offers you training guidelines and, most importantly, nutrition guidelines. And we think that if you combine these 3 variables and you follow our lead, you can hopefully improve the development of your soccer player.
Did you notice the way Ronnie looked at me when he said nutrition? He's like, nutrition, Kevin.
Yeah.
Nutrition.
Yeah. Okay.
Nutrition.
The question that I have is, I mean, like I've done genetic testing with other genetic tests. So how does this genetic test differ from the other genetic tests that are on the market?
Okay, so first of all, we're looking to introduce our product to the soccer community. In difference to other companies that are selling it widely to whatever audience they can feed, our soccer product not only gives you the genetic results that relate to flexibility and mobility, speed, strength, endurance, risk of lesions. However, we also introduce you to nutrition, which includes metabolism of fats and carbohydrates. And we give you standardized testing that the soccer community uses to define what are your aptitudes presently and how do you incorporate genetics into your training regime so that you improve your game. So we don't only give you genetic results, we give you a tool to improve your game.
So how, if you're a young soccer player and you want to have a collegiate career here or go on to the pros, whatever it might be, maybe you struggle with injuries, or maybe you're not quite sure about your diet. You look at Daniel Sturridge, or you look at Gareth Bale, so many problems consistently with injuries, that you're telling us that Soccer Genomics could actually help in terms of preparation for diet and training to prevent injuries.
Precisely. I mean, this is a theme that's catching a wild expansion in the world, the idea of genetic predispositions, no different than to diseases. When you go to a physician today and you undergo precision medicine, which includes looking at your genes and determining what medications to give you. We no longer have a guinea pig approach where we give you something and we bring you back in 2 weeks, and if that something didn't work, we give you something else. Now we can actually target who are you and what's going to work for you. Similarly, in the world of risk of injury, we can identify from an early age if you're at a higher genetic predisposition for injury, and therefore you can adapt your regime, your stretching. We give you ideas to change your game so that you can avoid injuries as you perform in your development.
Can I just ask, what does that mean exactly, a higher predisposition? Can you explain what that means?
Yes, absolutely. So essentially, I think the medical examples are the ones that are most widely used. If you take a woman who's walking in the street, she's got a percentage of risk of developing breast cancer, which we know to be 12 to 15%. If you do genetic testing for breast cancer, her risk of developing breast cancer increases to 60 to 70%. Now, that lady, when faced with the results, needs to make a decision. What do I do now that I know that I'm at a higher genetic predisposition to developing cancer? Do I increase my screening, meaning do I get repeated mammograms? Do I choose a surgical procedure to get rid of my breast, otherwise known as a mastectomy? Similarly here, with these are genetic predispositions, that same lady may walk through life and never develop cancer, but at the very least, she's been given information early on that she can act on. And that's the definition of the company. Let us give you more information so you can act on your development of your soccer career.
So you talked about the fact that you can do this at an early age. What is the age that is appropriate for this kind of
thing? So our reports are generated age-based, as are the recommendations. I think of particular interest are the nutritional recommendations, because you've never really had the opportunity to invite the world of nutrition to your dinner table. Imagine going to dinner with your kids and discussing with them at the age of 5, 6, 7, hey, what are fats? What does the word metabolism mean? What's carbohydrates? Let's start teaching the kids from a young age how should they change their diet to attain wellness. So the report or the testing can begin at the age of 5 or 6. We are gender specific, and they can go all the way through elite.
Well, let me say, I did the test, and it was fun to see the results. And one of the things for me, though, is, no, I'm not going to go there just because my report said that I...
Go ahead, say it. He's been telling everybody in the office. Go ahead. Tell us, Kev.
Let's just leave it at LeBron James.
Right. That's right. That's right.
No, seriously.
Did you tell him that? Was that you that told him that?
It was my partner who told him that, and we know that he's now being looked at the NBA teams, and Kevin is moving on from the Facebook
It's not
world.
that at all. No, no, no. This is.
I got Diary of a
one thing-
Wimpy Kid.
The one thing that I wanted to know about though is that, for example, I don't process carbohydrates like a lot of people would. So that's something that I'll put on weight much quicker. So if I'm in training and I'm trying to become a pro, for example, that's something I need to know.
That's right. That's right. And not only does it give you the result, but again, it'll give you nutritional instructions. What should your breakfast, lunch, and dinner look like? It will match it to your age. So evidently, the recommendations of a 4-year-old are not the recommendations of a 15-year-old. But again, most importantly, this is about educating the public about how do you incorporate genetics into the development of a soccer player. It should never be used as a source of talent identification. We're not here to use genetics to determine who's the next Messi.
Okay.
We're simply here to incorporate genetic knowledge into the development of a soccer player, as the report will tell you.
We have a promo code that you'll be able to see on the bottom in order if you're interested in purchasing a kit. Now the kits are not cheap, but when you look at, when I look at it, I look at if you've got some meal planning, you've got exercise, like you've got a regimen of activities you can do to improve certain aspects of your genetics. When you look at all of that and combined with a genetic test, it's actually very, very affordable. So explain the price point and what you get with that.
So from the scientific standpoint, it took us 2.5 years to deliver this product to the community because we chose to review the existing literature from A to Z, come up with an algorithm that allows us to identify all the genes and present the information in a simple to read format. So not only do you get an explanation that is easy to act upon, but now we combine that with nutrition, whereas other companies will sell you only nutritional aspects. We already incorporate nutrition, sports and training. We add the training guidelines. We add nutritional tables. We instruct the public as to what genes are analyzed. And lastly, we present it in a very easy to act on way. I'll remind you, in the medical world, similar testings that are used for cancer detection or others are priced at $1,500, $2,500, $3,500, and they are still the same swab that we use and the same technology that we use. So we believe that a product that gives you genetic information that relates to sports, nutrition, gives you training guidelines, and explains the science behind it is well worth the price point at $299.
Well, and I've had, as I said, I've had the genetic testing done that is on the market, and then we did your genetic test, and obviously it's much more comprehensive, and the information that was provided, I know just from the consultation I had, I'm not LeBron James over here, but the information it's very valuable, and it's easy to apply, and it's something that
Absolutely.
is very informative.
And I'll tell you, we are thankful to be here because this is a product that requires the dissemination of education. People need to understand the product before they purchase it because it's not cheap. You need to be familiarized with what genetics will do. So we have sample reports in the website that you can look like and become a little more educated as to how genetics is to change the development of your soccer player.
It's a tool that can help you go further.
And we call it a soccer player development tool because that's all it is. We know that the soccer player has variables that include nutrition, socioeconomic platforms, psychosocial issues, genetics, nutrition, and training are other variables of this puzzle that will ultimately prove to be useful for the development of a soccer player.
All right, Ronnie Aquinin, you're an
It's a pleasure
absolute
being
gent.
here.
Yeah, top man.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Be careful of those
Appreciate it.
rocks when
Appreciate
you're
it.
on your way back up
You got
again.
it.
All right, just
Appreciate
watch your head.
Be well. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank
Remember
you.
the promo code, guys, is
beIN17
beIN17 if you head to soccergenomics.com.